Good morning. Back again. Not going to let that virus get me. Not at all. I'm here in self-quarantine because I promised my son and a good friend I would stay indoors until I got my second shot. And so I am. I'm keeping that promise. Is it hard? You bet it's hard. Sometimes I just make phone calls to hear another person's voice. It's difficult to be self-quarantined. On the other hand, I'm working on a glass lecture as a diversion. And if you look around my apartment, you can see glass objects that I've collected. But that's part of civilization. Something that most of us are not fortunate to do, and I'm aware of that. But even those people who can't afford to own the glass can see beauty in our civilization, can read books, can go to museums, and all this can be done virtually. So if I can provide some pleasure out of what's happening today, I'm happy to do so, because art is our culture, and art, just like space travel and books and music, sets us apart from the day-to-day plodding along. And that's what we need. We need to be able to somehow alleviate the misery. I was hoping Congress would do that for us, that Congress would pass a real bill. They would get rid of the filibuster and pass a relief and stimulus bill on the spot that would take in not only the $1,400 stimulus checks, but paid leave, and also raise the minimum wage. Lord knows people need it. I read that the folks in Kentucky are about the lowest paid in the nation, 46th out of 50. And we need legislation on Washington, D.C. They should become another state. But no, to avoid the filibuster and to appear to have some kind of unity, which we don't have anyway, the Senate has gone for another huge omnibus bill. Every committee has to put their input into the bill. So the Senate passes the bill. Now it goes back to the House for every committee to look at the parts of the bill that apply to their committee and then decide, are they in agreement with the amounts of money or not? This could take weeks. It's unfortunate because anxiety in the community has mounted. As we saw, only 49,000 new people got work this week. It says unemployment is at 6.3%. I don't believe it. Neither does Ron Wydon believe it. He said the laws have to be readjusted to reflect the gig economy and contract workers, the long-term unemployed, those who are employed part-time, don't get benefits. It doesn't reflect any of those folks. The law was crafted around 1933 or 1935 by FDR. It's time to be replaced with laws that have real data and real statistics. We're behind in our data collection. It's kind of obvious. In one day, our deaths went up over 1,000 because somebody never got their data in on time. So instead of 4,000 deaths a day, we showed 5. This shouldn't happen in a modern economy. However, our hospitals are not connected. Our data centers are not connected. Neither is our CDC connected to modern technology, and so much more. No one needs more satellites and newer satellites. Old satellites should be retrieved because they're junk that is floating around the universe, our universe, and will one day fall to Earth. So we could create jobs, but we're not doing it. We are concentrating on relief and stimulus and hoping beyond hope that the states will be able to come up with programs. Well, New York City's coming up with one. They were going to redo Madison Square Garden Station. Well, so they'll do that. And they'll do Port Authority. Big deal. We really need to do more than that. We need more subways. We need better transportation in the city. We need more affordable housing where commercial space is empty. We need to upgrade NYCHA, which is public housing, so that folks can have livable quarters. And we need to upgrade salaries. Well, that doesn't happen with reconciliation. Reconciliation doesn't do paid vacations or paid family leave. It doesn't do immigration. It doesn't do election reforms. It doesn't do a lot. What's the purpose? Get rid of the filibuster. Do what's right for Americans. Do it in a timely basis. And then we don't have to worry in 10 years when this bill sunsets. Because unless we get COVID under control, people are not going to go back to work. They can't. It's impossible. Do you want to catch this new variant? Do you want to wind up with diabetes when you didn't even know you had a predisposition to it? We need to be protected. So there's only one way: social distance, masking, good hygiene, good testing, which brings me to the rapid tests that we're not getting. We're getting rapid tests from Illumi, but those are the old PCR tests. They test everything, including dead fragments of the virus. We want to know when we're asymptomatic. Those tests cost $1 a day. $1. And they would probably cost less if we made many of them. And it would mean supporting about 11 startups in this country. But wouldn't it be great, since 50% of the COVID population is asymptomatic, to measure for them? I think so. It's not in the cards. The Senate, the President, Congress, they don't understand. Just like they don't understand that we need to reinstate regulations that don't let conspiracy theories grow. It's totally different. We have social media and we have the internet. None of this is regulated. It used to be years ago the FCC regulated radio, television, newspapers. You had to say the truth. If you didn't say the truth, you had to have someone who at least said, this is a conspiracy, and let me tell you why. And they had to be credible to disprove any of the conspiracies that float in the country. Hasn't happened yet. And it looks like we're already forgetting about the seditious people in Congress and public office. I don't know, I must be old fashioned, but if it were up to me, I would be insisting on the 14th Amendment, Section 3. You're seditious, you're removed. I'd like to see who else would run against these people who wanted to overthrow our government, who didn't want to acknowledge a fair election because it didn't go their way. Now I find out that President Trump will not even appear at his impeachment trial. Thank goodness there are rules of the road for that say if you don't appear, then you're not defending yourself and you are indeed guilty. But what's more troublesome is that he put out an anti Semitic video during the rally so that he could whip up the crowd to the dangerous Jews once again. That to me makes me sick to my stomach, and that to me makes it impossible for me to forget that so many in the House of Representatives were seditious and didn't recognize a fair election. And it makes me sad that many in the Senate were also part of this insurrection, and many Republican AGs as well as the militias. I don't feel that we should forget them so quickly. We should remember and we should remove them. The 14th Amendment is our mechanism, and that's permanent across all public office. We don't have one society that follows the rules and one that doesn't, or one that says, if it's your rule, I don't respect it. Because what comes out of Congress is for all the people. And that's how it should be. We, the people, count. We overwhelmingly voted for Joe Biden. It's his presidency, and let him be able to conduct it in a lawful and just manner. Thank you for listening, everyone, and have a blessed day. See you next week, hoping that you're not going to be suffering from food insufficiency, evictions, student debt, and unemployment for too much longer. Be well.